Welcome, 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 Hattiesburg, and a pleasant day to all our listeners. This is Abby, your host for Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio, and I don't think my mic is on. I'm here to bring you updates, news, and more from our community. To add to all the excitement today, we have Mississippi Moments with Babs Folk and a news wrap with Caitlin Fox Thomas to ensure you're up to date on all the hottest topics. And guess what? We have a very special guest for you today, Andy. You definitely want to stay tuned for what he has to share with us today. But before we jump into all the fun, here's a quick message from our sponsor. So hang tight, we'll be right back with more Southern Miss Today.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water, water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
I'm Chris Jakimick. I served in the United States Air Force, and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is "My job is people, everyone is my business." But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakimick, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
I have learned that my mic is on. Welcome back. In campus news, a student in the University of Southern Mississippi's Honors College has been awarded a coveted Goldwater Scholarship, one of the oldest and most prestigious scholarships in the natural sciences, engineering, and mathematics in the United States. Joseph Suro, a native of O'Fallon, Missouri, majoring in biological science with minors in chemistry and world languages, emphasis in Spanish, is the 29th Southern Miss recipient, furthering the university's lead in the state. After graduating from Southern Miss, Joseph plans to pursue a PhD in molecular genetics and conduct research on gene therapies aimed at improving the quality of life for individuals with neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's. It's truly an honor to be selected as the Goldwater Scholars to be able to be the first biological science major in USM to receive it. I believe this recognition speaks volumes about the quality of guidance my mentors have provided me, said Sero, crediting Dr. Caitlin Balder and Alex Flint in the USM School of Biological, Environmental, and Earth Sciences. Also in campus news, from the soccer field to the lab and soon to the medical school, Jackson Meek's journey has been anything but conventional. With a foundation in cybersecurity and a passion for medicine, his path reflects both intellectual curiosity and unwavering determination. Shaped by a supportive family and a drive to serve others, this is a story of forging one's own path. Born in Mississippi, Gulf Coast, Jackson is proud to be a third-generation Golden Eagle. His parents met at the University of Southern Mississippi while attending nursing school, and both of his older sisters are alumni as well. As for his 2 youngest siblings, time will tell, but Jackson hopes they too will foster a love for all things black and gold and continue the golden legacy. Growing up with parents in the medical field, Jackson's interest in medicine was sparked at an early age. However, it wasn't until a pivotal moment in high school that he fully committed to pursuing it. During a soccer game, Jackson suffered an injury that became a turning point in his life. Reflecting on his experience, he shared, "The physicians who aided in my recovery inspired me to want to pay it forward and provide the same compassionate care that I received during my healing journey." In Hattiesburg news, Friday, the staff at Forest General Hospital and representatives from the Mississippi Organ Recovery Agency celebrated people who have saved lives throughout organ donation. An annual Mora Donation Life flag-raising ceremony was held at the hospital honoring those who were organ, tissue, or eye donors from Forest General Hospital in the past year. Friday's ceremony was part of the National Donate Live Blue and Green Day. The flag-raising ceremonies happened at 8 hospitals across Mississippi Friday, and similar ceremonies took place across the country. In Mississippi news, the Laurel High School Student Council held an event Saturday to not only give people a good workout, but to spread awareness about autism. The first ever Autism Awareness 5K color race is in the books. The event's goal was to show the Laurel community how people with autism deserve to be treated like everyone else. Kimberly Lindsay showed up in support of the event for her son, Chase, who has autism. She said events like this one, staged Saturday, were particularly beneficial to educate people and let them know about that autism doesn't look the same in all children or people. Along with speaking on autism awareness, the race also sparked plenty of conversation that talked about runners were proud to finish the race. Runners also said that they were proud to support a cause they believed in. Event volunteer Carson Gully said just being able to contribute was enough. Even event organizers said that they hope the event would become an annual thing that gets bigger and better. Also in Mississippi news, citizens opposed to Trump's administration cuts and practices reached out to members of Congress, hoping for a dialogue and challenges to Republican policies. The growing number makes a third attempt to speak to Washington lawmakers to have their voices heard. A group of concerned citizens protested outside Congresswoman Cindy Hyde-Smith's office on Friday. They say it's the third time they've tried to speak to her about President Trump's cuts, tariffs, and policies. That's your news update from Southern Miss Today. Next, we'll have the latest in sports and weather, so stay tuned. We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online. Sponsorship comes from American Graphics. Located at 8 Commercial Warehouse Drive in Hattiesburg, American Graphics provides custom screen printing and embroidery. They can be reached by phone at 601-602-2277, and the website is goamericangraphics.com. American Graphics, printing at its finest.
Welcome back with our action-packed sports segment. Let's dive into the latest scores, highlights, and sports. Get your jerseys on because it's game time. Today, Monday, April 14th, the men's golf team will be at the Mossy Oak Collegiate, and the women's golf team will be at the Sunbelt Championships. On Tuesday, April 15th, the baseball team will be playing against Southeastern. On Thursday, April 17th, the softball team will be playing against James Madison, and the baseball team will be playing against Georgia State. On Friday, April 18th, the men's tennis team will be at the Sunbelt Conference until Sunday, April 20th. The beach volleyball team will be at the Lone Star International, and the baseball team will be playing against Georgia State. On Saturday, April 19th, the softball team will be playing against James Madison, and the women's tennis team will be playing against the University of Louisiana at Monroe. Head to southernmiss.com to keep up with all the Golden Eagles sports activities. As for weather today, look for a low of 57 with a low chance of rain and a high of 83. The feels like for today is 54 to 84 degrees. And tomorrow, look for a low of 54 and a high of 76 with a low chance of rain as well. Tomorrow's feels like is 49 to 76 degrees. Up next, we have Mississippi Moments produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage with Babs Folk on hurricane preparedness. Check it out.
This is Mississippi Moments, produced by the Center for Oral History and Cultural Heritage at the University of Southern Mississippi and supported by the Mississippi Humanities Council. I'm Bill Ellison. The ferocity and devastation of Hurricane Katrina caught many Mississippians by surprise. Babs Falk emphasizes the importance of hurricane preparedness and personal responsibility.
One of the things Red Cross has done for several years, and with the help of our local media, has been to educate people to be prepared to take care of themselves for up to 3 days in their homes. They need to take that message seriously. You need to have enough water in your house to take care of yourself. You better have a first aid kit. Personal responsibility, absolutely bottom line. I didn't have enough water in my house because you know what my husband and I said? When's the last time we did without water? Have enough flashlights, have medication there, have an escape route from your house. We have dozens, as you well know, of people who had to cut their way out of their houses. Those are things that you can say, okay, I'm going to be prepared for, but I do think we have to take responsibility. I was flabbergasted when Wilma hit Florida, and you have people that went through 5 hurricanes last year that knew for 10 days that it was coming, who stood in lines blaming FEMA and Red Cross because they didn't have water in their house and gas in their tank. Hello?
Bill Ellison hosts Voices of Our People World War II, a new podcast from Mississippi Moments, sponsored by the Mississippi Humanities Council. That's Voices of Our People World War II, wherever you get your podcasts.
That was your Mississippi Moment for today. Coming up, we have the pleasure of hearing from Andy after a quick break.
Sponsorship for Southern Miss Today comes from Mississippi Beverages. Mississippi Beverages provides water coolers, and coffee service throughout South Mississippi. Take half of your weight in pounds. That's how many ounces of water you need a day. Mississippi Beverages can help you reach that goal by delivering fresh water to your door. To get more information or to set up a cooler and water delivery, you can call Mississippi Beverages at 601-271-2420, or you can find them online.
What is dedication?
My daughter is biological and my son is adopted. I love them both so much. From the morning when you wake up to putting them to bed at night and every moment in between. I think a parent's job is to protect our children, but also prepare them for the world so they become good, kind human beings.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Now, please give a warm Golden Eagle welcome to Andy. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. And you are our spotlight for today because sometimes it's hard to get a guest, and we have spotlights. So you are our spotlight today. Could you talk a little bit about what you do here, because you're in SM2?
Yes, I am the editorial director of the Student Prince. I'm also trying to think of my actual title, an analyst for Hub City Game Day, which is a sports show that we do here at Southern Miss Student Media. You can find it on the Southern Miss Student Media YouTube channel. And I guess that's really about it. I'm a very uneventful person.
How did you get involved with communications?
So this is actually, it's kind of a long story, but I'll condense it a little bit. So about 4 years ago, I went to a thing called Boys Nation, and it's something that only 2 guys from every state, 2 high school junior boys are voted in from every state, and I was one of the 2 elected from Mississippi to represent in Washington, D.C., and I think it was a week and a half of just simulating the national government and how it's run. And after that, I come back to my hometown of McGee, Mississippi, and there's a lady there who runs a online news service called McGeeNews.com. She brought me in, did a couple of interviews with me because I was the first student from my high school, McGee High School, to ever go to Boys Nation. We sent a bunch of Boys State people up there, but I was the first one from there to go to Boys Nation, the big deal. So after that, I started thinking about what I want to do with my future, because for years I always wanted to be a truck driver. That was always so cool. Then I thought I was going to be a preacher. And
it's funny because I can see both of those actually.
Oh, really?
Yes, I can hear the preacher, and I get the truck driver vibe.
I guess they just I don't really know where they come from. But I went to her and I said, so there's an old church that my granddaddy goes to, and it's a cool old building. Could I maybe do something like dive into the history of it or something and do an article? Do people read stuff like that? She said people love to read stuff like that. So I did a thing about that old church. People loved it and wanted other articles like that. So I started writing this little series of articles about my home county, Simpson County, called Simpson County Roads. That's what I called the series. I wrote about 10 articles in that series, just doing things about the history, things to do in Simpson County, things like that. I moved on from that and started writing sports articles every week. Did weekly football coverage. I did coverage of Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Southern Miss football every week. I tried to watch as many games I could nationally, tried to get as much as I could that way. I covered, this is just from McGee News, I covered the death of Mike Leach, who was a football coach at Mississippi State. I wrote about the death of Jim Carmody, who was a coach at Southern Miss back in the 1980s. And did a bunch of news stuff, other things, and I have a family member who works here in College Hall and kept saying on my mom's Facebook post whenever she'd repost one of my articles, when are you going to get him down here to write for us? So I went to Pearl River Community College, did a sports film team down there, just live streaming Pearl River baseball, football, all the sports. And started coming up here and doing tours, and I was pretty much set on being an MMJ, a multimedia journalist, which would just include writing articles, doing radio raps for y'all, doing stuff for the TV program. Well, about towards the end of the summer, I get a call from Dr. Jason Beverly, who's over the Student Media Center, and said that we don't have an editorial director for this semester. I can't remember what happened with the one that was doing it, but I think she had to step back from a couple things, and I apologize if I got that wrong. But he said, I really liked how your resume looks and all the stuff you've done. Would you like to come be our editorial director? I said, sure. So came on another tour. He showed me everything, ran me through, went to workshops, and then last semester was my first semester doing it.
Awesome. So this is your first semester, you said?
This is my second semester.
Okay, so first.
Last
school
semester was
year.
my first semester.
Okay,
First
so
school
first
year
school
doing
year. Okay. What was it different than what you were used to doing with your news thing back home?
it. Oh yes, very different.
Very different.
Yeah, I went from writing one article, at the minimum, one article a week, maybe two. Sorry, I got a little bit of heartburn.
Nope, you're okay.
And I went from doing that, didn't have to worry about no people. I could find my own images, do all that. I send an email to the lady every Sunday with here's the article. She posted on Monday. There we go. And I come down here. Sorry.
Nope, you're okay. You're perfectly fine.
I love strawberry Pop-Tarts, but they give me heartburn. Bad. So I come down here. It turns into I have a staff of people that I have to be over.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not necessarily writing an article as much. I'm just laying out the paper.
Mm-hmm.
I do write some. I try to get an article in every paper every week. It turned out to be a whole lot more than I thought it was, and yet it's a lot more than just, like I said, writing an article every week and having to send it to somebody else.
Yeah.
But I don't regret it. It's fun. I get to meet a lot of cool people. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you'd like to put that in your water.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. What got you interested in doing anything communications related? Like, obviously you said you went to the Boys Nation thing. Were you interested in it before that, or did that just happen?
No, I was, when I went to Boys Nation, I was set on being a pastor or like a local government thing. I wanted to do, like, one day run for the mayor of McGee, of my hometown, or do like state senator type stuff, things like that, you know. So I was content with that, and then I did that first article for that lady about that old church, and after that I decided, you know what, I like this. I'm sorry, I'm trying not to make a mess here.
No, you're good. We've got Grinch fur over here still from we had the Grinch here one time, and there's still like green in places.
Well, I lost my train of thought after that. I'm sorry.
No, you were so good.
I'm messing up everything over here.
It's okay.
So
It's
sorry,
it's a Monday. It fits.
It's one of them days. So anyway, we so my thing with wanting to be in communication started after Boys Nation. I said, well, after doing the history articles, I can't talk. It is a Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And after doing the history articles, I said, you know what? I like all the research and the work that goes into this. That's whenever I started going over to the sports stuff. And what really helped me with it was getting social media. I grew up long time, never got social media, and then in the fall of 2022, I got Twitter. I got it at the time that Elon Musk bought it. I can't remember when that happened, but I got it in that time.
That was an awkward time to join, too.
Oh, yeah,
It's switching
it was.
over. Everything's happening.
That was the first social media I had, and that's what I enjoy. I still have it. I've got about 900 followers on there, and I do Southern Miss stuff every week. I do all these brackets and polls. I do Southern Miss news. Like right now, I'm doing a thing, the greatest Southern Miss game ever across every sport, from football and men's basketball all the way down to softball. And just entered the Final Four for that. That's how I do. I do 64 for everything. So all the way down to the final. So, but anyway, getting Twitter helped me get out there, put my articles out there. I started getting noticed by people. There was a guy who worked with Southern Miss Student Media last year, I think. He just graduated. His name was Jackson Kennedy. And he started noticing my stuff, and everybody here started noticing it, and it all just fell together, and it's like, okay, so either I take the long road all the way back around and just write as a hobby, and I go into being a pastor or a truck driver or one of those other things, or government, or I just go right here and I do what I enjoy doing, which is journalism. I love to write. I really want to be on radio one day. I love the talking like this. I love what I do for the sports show. So it all just kind of fell in, okay, so either you do all this or you just do what you enjoy the most. So,
have you considered doing like a podcast where you talk about your articles?
I've considered podcasting, not necessarily about articles. I'm a big music fan, so I've thought about doing like a radio show here or doing podcasts on my own, something like that.
Wilbur really wants people to do radio shows.
I've been talking to him a little bit. I'm trying to plan a country music show. I don't know that. I probably shouldn't have said that, but
He's gonna get you for the no bro country. His little, have you heard the little bit in the radio where he says it's like, I don't know what he says. He goes no bro country or something.
he knows I'm a classic country fan. He knows it's safe with me.
It's safe. Me and Cadence have been talking about doing a show as well, but it's hard to get together, especially like with schedules and everything.
It is. But hey, if y'all want to do something, let me know.
Oh yeah. Whoops, I can't say that on radio. Sorry, guys.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. Whoa. Sorry. Don't kill me. I didn't do that. It's Monday. It's Monday. It's okay. It's Monday. My bad. So you're in ATO. We talked about this a little bit before we got on. How did you, what am I trying to say?
How did I get into it?
Yeah, not like how, like in a, how did that happen? But I don't know how Greek life stuff works.
Well, I'll just explain it to you a
Yes.
little bit. So a minute ago, I mentioned a guy named Jackson Kennedy who was part of Southern Miss Student Media. And throughout the summertime, he kept saying, hey, man, me and some of my friends are hanging out. You want to come? And I never could. He said, well, we're hanging out at the house. And I didn't even catch on then that it was for a fraternity. I just thought, oh, he works with student media. I'll be meeting people I work with.
Yeah.
So I'd go over there, and it's at a fraternity house. So I've always thought Greek life was cool. I just never knew if I'd join it or not.
Yeah.
But I went there. I hung out with the guys. I met a few guys that I was initiated with, and I just fell in love with it. It was a group of guys that were just like me. I didn't fit in. I went to them. I went around to a couple of other fraternities and didn't really fit in with them. And ATO, Alpha Tau Omega, was my final choice. And just like, I don't regret it. It was the best thing that I had done. I feel like second best. Being part of student media is obviously first, but this fraternity means a lot to me because it's all just a bunch of guys just like you. You try to get through college. I share a lot of interests with a bunch of them. We're all a bunch of big sports fans, so.
I don't know yep, it's Monday. I don't know a whole lot about Greek life. We have had a few people come on and talk about it, and I'm gaining more understanding. I'm not a Greek life person because, woof, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it personally. With also how, like, it's like I work here. This isn't my major, not even close. I also do the school choir, also not my major.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a forensic science major, which gets real rough once you get past sophomore year because their classes are.
You're trying out everything.
Yeah, you're trying to figure out what you're doing, and then you're also trying to get out of Arthur Kelly before they tear it down on the 9th. R.I.P. Arthur Kelly.
Oh, they're tearing it down?
Mm-hmm. They're tearing it down and they're making it a parking lot, which.
Is it going to be more commuter spots?
I don't know. Me and my roommate were talking about this because there are so many commuter spots. No hate to commuters, but there's so many commuters. There's so many commuter spots that don't get used. Or those ones in the parking garage, they have to pay like $500 to park in, and then if no one buys them, and so they're just empty, and they're like, well, you can't park there at all.
That's the one thing about the parking garage, and I know there's been so many things, but I did an article last week. It was my or last semester, not last week.
Same thing.
Yeah, basically. And it was my parking solution, and I listed like 5 things I would do to better parking at Southern Miss, and one of them was like just put a roof on the 5th floor.
That's
of the
what my
parking
roommate
garage.
said.
If you go on Google Earth, you can count how many parking spaces are up there, and I think it's over 200 parking spaces.
Oh, yeah.
On the 5th floor of the parking garage.
Because it doesn't have a ramp going up, so it opens up more spaces. Because we were actually talking about it, because we were coming back at like 4 a.m. last night, and we were talking about how annoying parking was, and we were like, put a 10-foot tall fence if you so wish.
You can do that. You can take a crane down there and build a brick roof on top of it and put that chain link fence in there, cyclone fence around it or something.
No, exactly.
And I understand. I'm not talking bad about anybody. It's tragic what's happened over there, and my hearts and prayers go out to the families of the people. But still, like,
there's other things that they could do that would not only fix the problem, but also fix something else in the process.
Right.
Like my dad's hospital has that it's had it because it's a hospital, and especially with a mental health section in it, they need to have like the fence around it, and like they put like basically a cage over the top of it, whereas a whole, like you're in a cage, it's kind of awkward, but it's the whole thing's a cage, you can't get through it.
And I'm not sure if it was Mississippi law, that parking garage wouldn't look like it. But I'm pretty sure somewhere in like building codes, it says you have to have something on the top floor that kind of seals it off. Every parking garage I've ever seen is like that. It's got a top floor, but it's got a roof on it, or it's got a tall fence that not even,
So you could,
that a koala bear could climb over.
Yeah.
Like it's just there that it's unpenetrable or something like that.
Yeah. Stuff like that is actually why we need specifically like articles and stuff. Like you got attention of people back home with historic things that they might not have known about. Like, because especially in bigger towns, a lot of people don't know about stuff just there. Like when I came here, I didn't know about a lot of stuff over here, and I just stop and read the signs half the time, which is different. But like you said with the parking garage thing, articles about how to improve the parking garage and how to improve other things could be very beneficial for everyone.
And I'll give you
My brain stopped working.
I'll give you a quick little piece of history too. You may not know this.
Ooh.
But a lot, this part of campus where College Hall and Southern Hall, Forest County, Mississippi, and Hattiesburg Hall, those are all like the original buildings on campus, and the Ogletree House. Did you know none of these buildings are actually the oldest building on campus? They're original, built 1912 whenever the school was founded in 1911. I think or 1910. I think they finished the buildings in 11 and 12. These are not the oldest buildings
Is
on
it the
campus.
school that's inside of
Owens McQuaig. I wasn't sure if you knew about that. I never even heard of it.
I was about to bring it up, actually. I lost my train of thought, but I was about to bring it up. That was the one thing. That's where I stopped and I read a sign. Well, the demonstration school, and then Owens. I actually don't remember. No, I wrote a little article for my news thing last semester on it, and I was like, what? I still haven't been over there, but I saw an article thing about it, because I've got a friend that's in the George Hurst. So I stopped and I was talking to her one time, and then I read that sign, and I started stuff just started popping up because synchronicity. Stuff started popping up and was like, oh, historic this and that, and I was like, didn't even know where it was.
But yeah, that just blew my mind. Like, there's an old schoolhouse in the middle of campus. What are they doing there?
Who knows? They're hanging out in there, I guess. I don't know. Is there anything you'd like to add before we finish this up?
Yeah, I was just looking. I guess it is about time to head out. But I just wanted to let y'all know I am an Alpha Tau Omega. I want to put a little plug in here. We are having our 40th annual crawfish boil. All proceeds from this go to fund the DuBard School for Language Disorders. If you want to attend, you can contact a brother for a ticket. If you want to go, let me know. If you see me, let me know. I'll get you a ticket, get you a form fill out or anything. It's on April 26th at Spirit Park. I believe it's from, I'm not going to lie about a time. I can't remember that right off, but
I've seen signs. There's signs somewhere.
Basic ticket is $25. That also kind of evens up as you go up. We can get 2 tickets for $40, $10 off. You can get 5 tickets for $100. That's $5 off. So if you want to go to the 40th annual Alpha Tau Omega Epsilon Upsilon chapter crawfish boil, contact a brother, or we've got flyers posted up all around campus. Just scan the QR code and that'll get you a ticket. Other than that, that's about all I got, except a bit to the top for Southern Miss.
Well, thank you for coming and talking today and filling our lovely, lovely student spotlight spot.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, student
Even though
spotlight
I'm a second chance, but thanks for having me. Second choice, but thanks for having me.
Shh, no.
It's a joke.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Does it count if we didn't have someone in the first place?
No, I'm just making fun.
I know. Coming up, we've got Caitlin Fox Thomas on Building Up Mississippi Act.
Planning on moving off campus anytime soon? Or just going to get groceries and gas? Well, on Thursday, March 27th, Governor Tate Reeves signed the Build Up Mississippi Act into law to eliminate income tax, lower the grocery tax, and raise the tax on gas prices. Students like junior Zachary Howell feel that this new law will keep them on campus rather than giving them the incentive to become a commuter.
This bill doesn't really help me to move out off of campus because if I'm paying more for gas, then even getting the groceries, like even if the tax is less, it's not really going to help me out very much. The cost is just not going to balance out enough for me to care.
Dr. Mehdi Barati, an economics professor here at USM, speaks positively about the bill.
I think more positively about it because as far as grocery sales or grocery taxes go, because 2% down would be a lot, especially for households. As far as the student goes, it depends how much they spend. My opinion is that most probably it offset, and after they graduate, hopefully it'll help.
The gas taxes will be implemented this summer, while the income tax and grocery tax will be lowered over the next few years. Kaylin Fox Thomas, SMTV.
Thank you for listening to Southern Miss Today on Southern Miss Radio. We're thankful for Carl Wilson, our audio engineer, and Gabby Collier, our film producer, for keeping this bird soaring. We especially want to thank our program director, Adeline Fields, our audio producer, Cadence Renfro, our booker, Austin Flores, and our general manager, Dr. Martin, as well as our lovely guest today, Andy, from the editorial section of Student Prints.